You're going to start in the video.
Alright, this is playtest session 1 of Shadowdark, the Quickstart guide. The Kickstarter is up, and I backed it, Steven's backed it,
I am going to.
and Mike has backed it, and MJ, this is his third time ever playing any kind of role-playing game.
Yeah.
He absolutely crushed it. MJ is Mike's sons. He absolutely crushed it in the last session by kicking the crap out of some bad guys. So MJ is now addicted to being a badass, as one would expect. If you've seen any of my sessions before, normally you see the whole table and the players and stuff. I focus the camera just on the table itself, so hopefully you guys get a better view of what's actually happening. And then you can't see us stuffing our faces with pizza, which is exactly what we're doing right now. Steven is going to be playing 2 characters. He's going to be playing Corgan, a level 1 dwarven priest, and Morgan, a level 1 human thief. Mike is going to be playing 2 characters, Taran, a level 1 human wizard, and Tucker, a level 1 halfling priest. And MJ is going to be playing a level 1 fighter named Darvin, and another level 1 fighter named Del. Darvin is a dwarf, and Del is a human. And to keep it simple on that, we're just going to roll for initiative and go around just the way it says in Shadowdark. If I make any mistakes on the rules, because this is my first time ever running it, Kelsey, don't crucify me. But mostly my concern is unlearning bad habits from 5th edition. So hopefully we can avoid those. So with that, we will get started. Quick backstory for how we got to the adventure we're at. 3 days ago, you found a drunk man weeping in an alleyway in town. And he said that he and his son were out hunting near the old Godstone ruins. And the Godstone ruins is an ancient stone temple to the divines, and it had been abandoned ages ago and was fabled to be closed forever to mortals by a powerful curse, some say from the gods themselves, though no one knows why. But at any rate, this man and his son, as they passed by hunting it, there was a mighty earthquake that shook the ground, and the giant, long-sealed stone doors of this temple broke open and crashed to the ground, leaving the way open. The man begged his son not to tempt fate, but his son entered the temple ruins anyways, tempted by the rumors of fabulous wealth of the high priests of the old gods. Wealth and magic that his son said might turn them from simple peasants with a hard life into wealthy nobles of comfort and privilege. So they both went inside the temple itself, but it was barren. There was naught but rotted furniture and broken stools and stuff, and some mice and a few snakes, and some skeletal remains of priests that had died, though what had killed them I was unable to say. But there was also a set of stairs going down under the temple itself, and so the man's son had lit a torch and went down in search of the rumored treasures. But the father stayed up top of the stairs and called down after him, begging him to come back. And his son said that he saw several rows of books in one room that were interesting, and he kept getting further and farther away, saying that they came into another room that had these large, frightening statues. And the father said something startled his son, and his son claimed that he had dropped the torch, and the torch went out, engulfing him in the darkness. His son got turned around, and his voice, of course, started shaking with fear. But after a moment, his son said, "Wait a second, I feel a cool breeze. That must be the way out." But moments later, there was a horrible scream. And that was the last that his father heard from him for the rest of the day. His father could not bring himself to go down searching after it because he had a wife and he had other young children that he had to care for. So after the end of the day, he finally left and came back, and he's just been totally distraught that his son is lost in the Godstone ruins. You, as adventurers, knew that word would quickly spread around town that the ancient Godstone ruins were now open, and that soon other adventurers would wish to test their luck at stealing the treasure for themselves. So if you were going to earn gold and glory, this was your chance to do it now. Gathering together your weapons, armor, torches, and other supplies, You made haste to the ancient temple and soon stood, learn to speak now, soon stood atop the stairs, looking down into the black heart of the temple's catacombs. You steeled your nerves, readied your weapons and spells, and lit your torches, and now it is just you against the terror of the Shadowdark. And we're going to put you right here at the bottom of the stairs. You come down, the temple was up here, the stairs went down, and you come into this first room that you can still see some, you still have some light coming in from the hallway coming down here. You see it's an empty room. There's some damage from the earthquakes that had hit, and there's just one door that's exiting out, but you can see through that door. You can't really see, it's just like pitch black in here because the sunlight doesn't get into it, but you can see through it that you're going to need light torches from this point forward. So the question is, how are you going to get light? Who's got torches and who's going to be carrying them?
So Torin has a lantern. He's going to light his lantern.
Torin has a lantern. Okay. So these little things right here are for the, Torin is your priest, no, it's the wizard.
Wizard.
Is the wizard, so that's this guy right here, so he's got the lantern that's lit, and it uses, Shadowdark uses a real-time timer, so starting at 11:08,
I found one.
you guys light the lantern, so which means at 12:08 is when the, when it will go out. Assuming nothing snuffs it out sooner than that. So, that's it. There's only one doorway. You guys going to head down, and what marching order are you going to use?
How much oil you got for that?
Two glasses of
Two
oil.
flasks of oil, or now one flask of oil?
One flask of oil. So you've
Okay.
got 2 hours worth
2 hours
of,
of lantern.
And then
I have a bunch of torches, so.
the halfling, the priest has torches, and the fighters each have torches. Can so with your shield, can you hold a torch
I'm going to say yes.
in your shield hand?
Sure, I'm going to say yes.
Do you want to light a torch so you can actually, because up front they would need to be able to see.
Nobody has dark vision in this game,
Right.
so, and that torch is going to give you a 30-foot light radius. In game terms, it goes to near, which is 30 feet in each direction. So it's anybody that goes outside of the range of 30 feet of you, of the wizard, is basically you're in darkness.
So which one of your characters you want to have light a torch?
Probably Dell.
Del?
Having like
Okay, the human fighter, which is going to be this guy right here. Okay. There we are. So he's got his torch going on. And do you light any torches or no?
No.
You good with that?
I'll go with that.
Okay. And what is the marching order? Head down the stairs.
I'll put Dell first and then Darwin right behind her.
Okay. Del and Darden. So you guys begin marching down the stairs. And you enter a room, of course. Put everybody in here. I assume everybody goes.
I'll follow behind him. I'll be 3 or 4.
Okay.
Quarter in the morning.
4.
And then the halfling priest, and then the wizard in the rear.
Okay. There we go. That's the entrance. That's the light above. All right. You enter a small room. Here we go. You enter what it looks like a library hallway, and the priest, the two priests, are somewhat familiar with this idea, which is a lot of times entering into a temple, there'll be a library that has history of the gods themselves or anything like that. And the wizard is also aware that there could be useful information about this temple that's been closed for ages in these books. In a quick cursory look, no serious time involved or anything like that, but just a couple minutes look around, you identify that there's roughly 4 books that look like they have some information that might be worthwhile. One is called The History of God's Stone Temple. The second is called The Gods of Law and Chaos. The third is called The Divine Blood Chamber. And the fourth is called The Gods of Neutrality. Each one of those books, skimming through it, would take you about 10 minutes to read. It's up to you, and that might give you some information that would be helpful. It's up to you whether or not you want to do it. Either the priest or the wizards can read automatically, or anyone else can read with a score of 9. It's certainly capable that, you know, all of you could be reading 4 books one book at a time. So four books altogether, or not. That's up to you. And then you also see a doorway on this side right here. You also see the floor has been cracked and stuff, and that there's obviously that this earthquake that the man that told you about this place obviously has had an impact in the lower chambers of the temple itself.
You want to spend 10 minutes reading?
Yeah, it might be best. You know what we're dealing with.
Alright.
All right. So that puts it
Court,
down
Court
to.
gonna read one.
And then,
I'll I'll read the history.
All right.
and Taryn will read, one of them.
So you've got two.
Two priests and the.
We got 3 guarantees.
You've
and
got
then,
3s, and does anyone else have a 9 or higher for an int?
Morgan does.
Okay, so everyone's gonna read a book? So, all right, so the first one, the history of the Godstone Temple. The temple was built by the priests of the divines ages ago, a center of worship and sacrifice. There was, according to the books that you're reading through, there was some kind of a dispute or fight within regarding which god should rule supreme within the temple. And a little bit of a civil war broke out inside of the temple itself. How it ended was not written, but it appeared to be, the civil war tended to be between the priests of law and chaos regarding something known as the Chamber of Divine Blood. So there was some kind of a fight that was going on between the priests of law and chaos within this temple itself. The second one, the gods of law and chaos, examines the known history of the divines. There's 7 known divines, and then there are 2 that are just like lost divine gods that no one knows who they are anymore. So they call it the 7 divines, but there could actually be 9. But it mostly focuses on the gods that support either law or chaos, and it concludes that while the gods of law are both strong and unified, the gods of chaos outnumber them. There are 3 gods of chaos and 2 gods of law, and seek to forever undermine them for their own purposes. What mostly keeps the gods of chaos in check is that they can never seem to work together for very long before they deceive one another, while both the gods of law are firm in their commitment to each other. So inherent in there's an inherent struggle between those gods to begin with, and that seems to have played out somehow with the priests. Then the Divine Blood Chamber. The priests, neither of the priests have ever heard of this term before. This is something very strange. You've never heard of a Divine Blood Chamber. And it describes that the priests managed to uncover a room as they were expanding the catacombs underneath the church itself. They discovered a room of incredible power filled with what they said was the blood of the gods themselves. And it somehow augmented their prayers. And as the priests grew in power, so did their arrogance. And over time, their prayers started becoming more demands, angering the gods. And the final entries are that the high priest himself, who was a high priest of the chaos gods, entered the chamber alone at midnight on a night with no moon at the height of the summer solstice in order to make a demand, and then that was the last entry. It was just, this is what he plans to do, he has entered the chamber, and then there's no other writing left in the book that says what happened after that occurred. And the final book, The Gods of Neutrality, describe how the 2 gods of neutrality, Gede and Ord, watch the constant swinging of balance between life and chaos as mortals champion the ideas of either the order and security or freedom and the ability to do whatever they want for whatever they happen to believe is their own best interest in that moment. And both Ord and Gede get frustrated that mortals are too short-sighted to see the wisdom of the middle way. And it basically says how they're always seeking a way to teach the wisdom of tolerance to mortals, as also well as showing them the folly of intolerance. So the gods of neutrality, they seem to be concerned very much with the fact that mortals are just keep the realm swinging back and forth, total chaos, and then they push towards law, and they get tired of that, and so it's causing there's no center stable way that's going on. And that's what you gain from what was going on inside of the temple hundreds of years ago before something happened and it was cursed and unable to be opened until this earthquake, most recent earthquake, opened it. And there's one set of doors, right, one door that is there.
That wasn't very helpful.
Well, you never know.
I think so.
Morgan didn't think it was helpful.
Okay.
I did.
You want to head through the door?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to head through into this chamber here. And with your torches, you are able to see it. I'm going to just put you, if you walk in here, with the torches, you can you're free to move yourself around or whatever. As you enter the chamber, and so basically, you quickly see the body of the apprentice itself lying there, all chewed up, looking like he's been chewed alive with a look of horror on his face. And in the torchlight flickering, you can see an opening in the wall here, and you feel a cool breeze coming this direction. And the torchlight also flickers off of the walls, and there's these gargoyle-like creatures that are there next to you that look very creepy and shadowy and stuff. It's very disconcerting. They don't appear to be moving, but it's hard to tell because in the shadow light with the flickering, it almost looks like they could be moving. What do you guys want to check out? So, and you can also see again that the earthquake played real chaos with the temple itself. Some of the columns that were here have been knocked over, some of the floors been crunched up, some of the statues on the side have kind of been knocked over and whatnot.
Come over and look at one of these gargoyles.
Okay, you can check with the gargoyles. Steven, what are your characters going to do?
Morgan's gonna check on the body. Morgan's gonna stay hidden as much as he can because he knows this is where someone died.
Okay. Roll a stealth check just to...
That's at advantage, correct?
Yes.
19.
19. Awesome. Okay. So you guys are there. You go to check the body. The body looks like it's been chewed away at by a bunch of small mouths. It's just been ripped away at, like almost rats or something. And when you go over to check out the gargoyle, from out of the mouth, all of a sudden, a couple of rats actually come out from a nest that's in there and jump out, and then a number of other rats start pouring out of the nests as well, attracted by the flickering torchlights and the smell of potential food, and they come pouring out, and there is a swarm of rats. Roll for initiative. And then just let me know whichever one is your higher of the two.
Roll another one.
Nat 20.
Wow, that's pretty high.
Yeah. The dice
Mike, what you get?
being kind right now.
17
Okay.
and a 5.
All right.
17 for the mage, 5 for the priest.
Okay. And MJ?
I got a 13 and a 4.
13. So it's going to be Morgan and Corrigan first, then the rats, and then Tucker and Taryn, and then Darvin and Dell. Corrigan and Morgan. Corrigan goes first, the priest.
Who is next to me? That the other priest is next to me.
Yes.
I'm gonna move around behind the fighter. The Dell in the torch.
It would be Delia.
I'm gonna cast Holy Weapon on Dell's weapon. 19 on the dice. So your weapon has +1 to hit and +1 damage for the next 5 rounds.
So, and that is Corrigan. So Corrigan begins chanting these holy words, and his voice deepens, and he recites this prayer, and he touches your weapon, and all of a sudden it glows, and it feels more powerful in your hand. And you feel like the power of the gods is within your hand. And that makes it Morgan the Thief's turn.
Morgan's gonna stay hidden.
Morgan's going to stay hidden. Morgan's not...
Stay hidden.
Okay. That makes it the rat's turn. And since the person right in front of them with the torch is going to be Darvin, or no, Del?
No.
Del? Okay. The rats are just going to just swarm on top of you and attack you. 9, 10, 11, 12, and your armor class, Del, is 15. So they start swarming all over you, but you're able to like scrape them off. They're not able to get past your armor, and none of them actually get any biting damage on you. Taryn, the human wizard. And of course the rats are making all this screeching sound like that, and there's all kinds of scratching noises as it's across your metal armor.
He's going to attempt to cast magic missile at the swarm.
Okay. So that'll be a DC 11, so you're going to roll a D20 and you're going to add your intelligence. And if you get an 11 or higher, you successfully cast the spell.
We roll that missile advantage.
Yes, you roll an advantage, correct. That spell is always cast at advantage.
So, and cast. 17 and a 13, so.
That's a hit for sure.
For a whopping 3 points of damage.
Good damage.
That is good damage. Some of the rats get the magical missiles come shooting out of your fingertips and slam into the rats, and you see some of them just get splattered off and cut in half. There's that, you can tell it definitely has an impact on them. Tucker, the priest.
He's going to take a step forward and swing with his mace.
Okay.
It's vital creatures. Roll the 12. Oh, no, it's a 10.
It's a 10 total?
Yes.
Is a miss. While he swings with the mace, the creatures are being like a swarm of stuff, just kind of slide their way around, and it just, you do not actually hit or strike any of the rats themselves as the pile moves as a writhing mass. Darvin, the dwarven fighter. You have a 5-foot pile of rats trying to swarm your
Yeah,
human
I
fighter.
was supposed to, I'm gonna use the sword, and I have a bastard sword,
Okay.
so.
Take a big swing at the rats.
Plus your hit. 16.
16 is a hit. You get a good chunk in there. So, bastard sword is what? Is it? It's
D8.
Is it
D8 or D10?
D10? Are you swinging it two-handed or are you swinging it with a shield?
I have,
You're using your
I have one hand.
What? So it'd be D8.
D8.
Yep. So you just roll a straight 8-sided die, whatever that number is the amount of damage.
1.
1 point of damage. You just barely clip some of the rats off. Not
And he gets an additional +1 because it's his
Fire.
weapon master.
because it's weapon master, so he gets another. If it's just
+1, so 2 total.
2 total damage. So your skill with the blade comes through, and you manage to do a little extra damage. Actually, double the amount of damage you had done because of your skill with the blade. And that makes it Del, the human fighter, the one who the rats currently are attempting to swarm.
And the weapon is glowing.
And the weapon is
Does that
glowing.
give him +1? Or
Yes, it
is
does.
Yeah.
+1 to hit and
I
to
also
damage.
have a bastard sword on that one, so I'm gonna use that one-handed.
Okay.
Or D20? 6. Sure.
So 10.
So +1 hit?
It is +1 hit.
+1 to hit.
11 total.
11 total is a miss. A near miss, but a miss nonetheless. So he swings at it and does not actually catch any of these writhing bodies of rats as he wails away on it. And that makes it Corgan's turn again.
Corgan will join the fray. He's got a shield. He feels confident.
All right.
Help the party. Swings his mace. With a 5.
With a 5, that's going to be a miss.
That's gonna be a miss.
You aren't anywhere close, and all the flickering torchlight and stuff like that, and everybody's running around taking swings. You're trying not to hit your buddies. You swing and have a wild miss, not even anywhere close. Morgan the thief, who is currently hiding.
Morgan's gonna throw a dagger.
Alright, now that'll be, because they're not aware of the presence, that's gonna be an advantage, but that will also break his sneaking.
I'll take it. Double 17s, plus 2, so 19.
That's definitely a hit.
Alright,
So you whip a dagger out at the writhing mass of rats.
backstab is... Oh, that's 6 total points of damage.
Wow, nice. The pile of rats is down to almost half of about half what it was before. So, but it's still there, unfortunately. But not as bad as it was. Yeah, and since you did the most damage to it, he's going to come and charge after you. Where's your actual character hiding? Over there?
Hiding over there, yeah.
Yeah, there aren't any attacks of opportunity in this game. So they're going to go charging over and swarm you. And they attempt to,
Mistakes were made.
yes, 13, 16. What's your armor
That's
class?
a hit.
That's definitely a hit.
Uh-oh.
And the rats do
Less than 100 if I survive.
4 points of damage as they bite you, and you need to make a DC 12 Constitution roll.
Uh-oh.
Make a con check.
18 on the dice.
All right, you get it. So they're chomping away at you and whatnot, but they do not infect you with their diseases. You can be sure that they're doing their painful bite could be
Yeah.
even worse than what it was. That makes it Taran, the human lizard's turn.
You hear lots of screaming. Get him off me! Get him off me!
Yes.
I'm too pretty to die.
Oh, it is a role-playing game. That's fantasy, isn't it?
Yes, it
It's a question that, like the wizard with burning hands, it says creatures within the area of effect take damage, but does that include?
In this case, it would include him because they're swarming all over.
Right.
So, but you could do the magic missile and strike
Right.
just the creatures.
That's, or I was just worried about my
Absolutely.
okay. So he will do magic missile.
Yep. At advantage. Yep.
16 on the dice.
Is enough. Arcane missiles arc out from your fingertips, slamming into the
Whopping point of damage.
1 point of damage.
Hey, better than that.
It is. Come on, come on, come on.
Alright. They take the damage, a couple more rats fall off and die, but certainly not enough. But they're now they're well below half. Tucker the priest.
He will attempt to he'll step over and swing with his mighty mace. Nope, that does not hit.
Which is this guy?
No, that's me.
The little tiny
Yeah, the one next to me,
yeah.
Okay, comes over and he swings with what?
Mace and misses.
Misses?
2 doesn't hit.
And that definitely does not. And that makes it Darvin's turn, who now is no longer covered in, or no, that was Del who was covered in rats, but your dwarf fighter.
Okay.
He wants to head on over with his magic glowing holy sword.
No, that's dumb. The one with the torch has the big glowy sword.
Oh, okay.
You had the right.
I'm sorry, Darvin goes first.
Darwin goes first.
Darvin
which is
goes
the torch,
first.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
heads on over.
So yeah, I'm gonna swing with the sword again.
Okay.
Try to get some hit.
Get him off! Get him off! Throw him with the sword!
13. Alright.
Mhm.
So 18.
18 is a hit. Roll well. Don't forget to add your
Yeah,
+1 to damage.
Yeah.
6.
6 total?
Plus 1 more 7 because it's a weapon after.
They squeal and there's almost nothing left to the mound of rats, and they begin shrieking and trying to run away. They kind of basically scatter in all different directions. It looks like they're terrified. Del can take a parting shot and try and kill the rest of them off if he wants, Del.
Should I? Yeah. Okay. Well, Dell's gonna do that.
Okay.
Just go first one. Nat 20.
Oh, you crush it. So even though they're starting to scatter, you get them just as they're all lined up, and you just take your sword and you swing it through, and you just take them all out. There's nothing left to them, and the rats get splattered all over the wall and the floor, and there's there's streaks of blood everywhere. It looks like a total massacre, but it's all these like hundreds of rats that have been basically shredded. You have taken out the swarm of rats that you presume is what killed the man's younger son. You have the rest of the chamber available. You see that there's some kind of a large opening over here, and then you see a table in the distance over there.
Torrent's gonna head over to see what the source of you said there's cold air coming.
The cold air is coming from out of this
there?
right there.
Okay.
Yep.
Where's the tables?
The table is right there. And if you head over close to it, you see that there's a scroll on it.
Gentlemen, there's some stuff over here. Come over to the table and take a look.
All right. It appears to be some kind of a holy scroll. It's not arcane in nature. And when you hand it over to the priest and they take a look at it, it is a scroll of holy weapon on the spell. So should you forget, that you have it again. So whoever wants to take it gets to have that.
I said you have it. I already have this spell.
Okay, what is it?
Holy weapon. So when you cast that for 5 rounds, whoever has it will get to +1 to hit and to damage. All right, and that appears to be all that there is in this room, except for the torchlight ending over here. There's something in this direction. You want to head towards the breeze, where the apprentice, the young man's son, said there was a breeze. It head in this direction?
Yes.
All right.
That's not good.
And there appears to have been clearly some kind of a chasm that was always there. However, the earthquake seems to have wrecked the bridge. You want to head them up on the edge of the bridge itself. And when you get there, you see it's very windy coming up, so there's like a stream of air that's coming through, going there. It's not enough to blow out the torches, but they do flicker it a little bit.
I'm in the back. I want nothing to do with the front.
The torches flicker a little bit, but it's definitely not enough to actually blow them out. But there's clearly some kind of a breeze that's going on. And
Morgan, you're hurt. Do you need some aid?
Absolutely, would love that. Brent Corgan's, he's not taking care of me.
And that's about as far as you can see. It basically goes off into the darkness on both sides of it. There appears to be some kind of a large chasm. The bridge has been damaged such that the center span has been shaken down by a couple of feet. And there's no simple way to cross other than making the jump for it. The jump doesn't appear to be that bad, especially because you've got room for a running start. Looks like you could probably make it. You would have to fail miserably in order to not make the jump.
Okay.
But it's possible that you could drop your torches while you're running and making the jump. That's not a high chance, but there's a chance that when you run and make it. So, and that's going to be a dexterity check.
So, cure 14 on the dice. Successful. You want to?
So he rolls a D8, right? 5 points.
Nice. Toss me back off. Wow, I feel a lot better now.
Tucker takes out his holy symbol and prays to
And graciously,
Madeira and
I graciously thank you at the same time giving Corgan an evil eye.
You feel the warm, healing light of the gods course through your body and reinvigorate you from the horror and pain of the rat bites. You back up to full, or?
Full.
And you are ready to adventure on, and you're like, we faced our first fight and we succeeded. We've got this. But now you've got the bridge to cross. So who's going to? Unless you guys just want to turn back and. and leave
No.
all the, because right now, the only thing you've got, which is useful, but you've gotten a scroll, but you haven't received any cash yet. That must be deeper in the dungeon somewhere, in the catacombs.
No, so it's a dex check. Do we get to add our dex modifier?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
I'm gonna like, I got this. I'll take a torch.
Okay,
Morgan's gonna make the jump.
Okay, so Morgan's gonna make the first jump, go for
And I'm gonna take a torch with me.
it. Okay.
Nat 20.
Nat 20, so you jump, you take the torch with you, you make it look super easy. You just kind of run, jump, turn around backwards, take a selfie with your camera for Instagram later as you land. You just absolutely nail it, and you're just like, oh, nothing. Oh, but who'd you take the torch from?
The wizard's torch.
Okay.
I'm not scared of the wizard. The fighter, the guy with the big sword, I'm not so keen on.
All right, so then the next one will be Corgan, the priest. He's got to make the jump.
He runs back and goes for the jump. That would be a 13.
A 13 is enough. You were able to jump and you land and you get across and you're like, oh, not so bad. I can do this. And it's you feel pretty confident.
Happy I didn't need to be tossed.
That makes it Terran's turn, the human wizard.
I think I can do this.
All right.
11.
11. You are able to do it. So you get a running jump and you kind of roll and come over, land, and you're like, yes, you're in the center of the bridge now. So, and the breeze is stronger here in the center, because it's right in the middle of it. So and the torches are flickering, but again, they don't feel like they're in danger of going out.
Is the air coming up, or is it coming from in front of us?
It looks like it's rushing from this direction, actually.
Okay.
Rushing from here this way, and then of course, because there's openings, it goes in through that, and they get an indirect benefit from that. And that would make it Tucker the priest's turn. Tucker.
19 on the dice.
19 on the die, which is this guy?
The little tiny, yeah.
Okay, so he runs and he makes it very easily, lands, and he doesn't stumble in any way, shape, or form, and he is also on the broken center span, and that just leaves the two fighters, Darvin and Dell.
Alright,
So D20 and add your dex bonus.
so I'll do the torch first. Go first.
Okay.
So Darwin.
Darvin goes first.
Oh no.
What do you get?
Darwin's dead.
What do you roll? Did you roll one? So Darvin goes and runs, and as he jumps off of this section right here, the part of the bridge crumbles away, and as he falls, everyone hears. And Darvin falls to his death.
Wow.
We have our first death.
Wow. I would have played.
Okay.
I'm glad he didn't have a torch.
Yeah, that's why I said this. I even said in my head,
Wait, he had 2 torches?
In my head, I'm like, this is gonna be a nat one guarantee.
All of his stuff.
And
Yeah. Alright,
Dell
now
now-
Dell's gonna look
Now
at that.
Del is
Okay.
that, and everybody suddenly, the whole thing gets real all of a sudden. Everybody's like, wow.
Alright,
This
Dell's
is
gonna
dangerous.
Maybe we should have used rope.
Yeah.
14
Four-
plus
That's good.
You make it easily. So you were able to jump and hold the torch in your hand and land without any problems. The torch still firmly in your possession.
I think we should probably put rope around people as we go across.
Oh, by the way, that sound effect is, I don't know if you ever heard of it, the Wilhelm scream.
Yeah, the Wilhelm scream.
Okay, so you're familiar with it. In film, in Star Wars, and hundreds of films at this point, directors have this one scream, and it's just a thing, they put it in there. It's like from a 1950s cowboy movie.
Yeah, I was about to say it's an old.
Yeah, some cowboy, and the director that heard that was like, that is just a great scream. And so other directors have been borrowing it literally for decades and putting it in Indiana Jones and Star Wars. So I was like,
Put it in the purge.
so right, yeah. So anytime a character dies, you'll hear the Wilhelm scream. And that adds to it. So that brings us up to the top of the round again. However, everyone roll a d20 and add your wisdom bonus for a perception check.
$16.
16, nice.
5.
5, nothing.
10.
A 10.
And 8.
An 8. Who got the 16?
I did.
We're just-
Morgan.
Morgan? Okay. So Morgan hears a faint sound coming off from this direction. He can't see anything yet, but it's the sound of like, you think flapping wings. You can't tell because of the echoing of the cat, whether or not it's like one large set of flapping wings or if it's like a whole flock of them. But it's just, you're like, it sounds like there's flapping wings and it could be coming this way. So you're concerned about that. And that makes it Corgan and Morgan's turn. Who goes first?
Does anyone have those wings? We gotta get out of here. There's something flying over there. At that point, I'm gonna do Morgan. Morgan's just gonna take his leap.
Okay.
18 on the dice.
He makes it easily with his torch, correct?
Yes, I
So-
still a torch.
Let me get you all trapped here in this one. Why not, right?
It's a dead body.
Don't forget the dead. He's down here, so we'll put up. You know what? There he is. There's the dead body. So you can see the poor deceased guy. We have our first fatality.
The guy with the most hit points.
Right?
They didn't matter so much.
Didn't matter. So he makes it. Morgan is able to again jump across to the other side, and that makes it Morgan the priest's turn. The dwarven priest, who does not have a torch in his hand, so
No.
he gets to make
Do
a
you
run.
wanna tie
Let's
tie
do
a rope to him?
a rope.
All right.
We'll just watch someone
Tie a
die.
rope to him and let Dell hang on to it because he's rather strong.
I don't know.
So if you're going to tie a rope to everybody, I'm going to say that's going to take a little bit of extra time for each person. So it's going to burn just a couple minutes, not a lot, but it's going to burn a couple minutes off.
Morgan will take his rope, he's got a grapple hook and rope, and he'll toss the grapple hook side to everyone else.
Okay.
There's a place I can